Hello and welcome to Wild Heart Yoga Holistic Healing for today's short mobility and flexibility sequence. Let's begin today at the back of the mats, seated on our heels. As you take an inhale, reach those arms overhead, stretching tall. As you exhale, begin to gently lower that chest and forehead towards the mat, reaching the fingertips ahead as far as you can, keeping those glutes grounded toward the heels here. Inhale into the dantian, feeling that low belly space expand. And exhale, fully letting all the air leave the lungs. And maybe you want to set your intention for today's practice while we're here. Inhale, expanding the belly. And exhale, just sigh it away again. One more time, take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, this time tuck the chin toward the chest as you round forward one vertebrae at a time. Then drop the belly, and then the hips, coming into an up dog. As you exhale, lead with the hips as you begin to sink back into that child's pose. So we're just making a beautiful wave-like motion with the body here. Inhaling as you tuck that chin, rounding forward, head following last, and exhale, sinking back into child's pose. One last time like this. Inhale, rounding it forward, dropping the belly and the hips as you look up, and exhale, sink it back. Now go ahead and shift your hips toward the left as you walk your fingertips toward the right. So we're going deeper into that left side body and hip here for just a few moments. Breathing into those areas of tension. And sigh it away once more. Great job. Now walk those fingertips back to the middle, shifting the hips back up, and take it to the other side. Shifting the hips toward the right now, fingertips walking toward the left. Again, just a moment here, breathing into that side body, into that right hip. Just noticing if the side feels any different than the other side. Then as you exhale, shift the hips back to neutral, walking the fingertips back toward the center. Now let's round forward, coming into our tabletop this time. Then just begin to lift the knees. Lead with the hips as you press your way back into down dog. Feel free to keep the knees bent here if the back of your legs are really tight right now, or if you have any low back pain. And begin to just walk out your dog here, bending one knee, extending the other, doing what feels good for your body right now, maybe moving the hips side to side slightly. Take another deep inhale. This time as you exhale, again we're going to round through the spine, coming into our plank this time. As you exhale, lead with the hips, rolling it back into our down dog. Just making this motion feel good for your body. 2 more times like this. Inhale, rounding forward, again head is following last. Then exhale, lead with the hips, shifting back into down dog. Last time, inhale, rounding forward. And exhale, take it back to down dog. We're going to go deeper into the calves and the hamstrings now. So begin by lifting your right foot, crossing it over behind the left foot here. So you're on the ball of that right foot and thinking about trying to put all the weight you can onto the left leg. Feeling that deepening stretch through the left calf and hamstring. Now, if your left heel is already grounded to the mat, then you can think about tilting your pelvis here. So you're moving that low belly closer toward the thighs, and that will help deepen the stretch, even if you already have that heel all the way down. If your heel is lifted, then just keep trying to work on getting that heel closer toward the ground. Wonderful job. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and move that right ankle so it's crossing over the left thigh just above the knee. So we're taking a down dog pigeon variation here. On your next exhale, shift forward to plank, leaving that foot crossed over the leg. And then we're going to lower that left knee toward the mat and begin to sink back. So we're sitting back into almost a child's pose, pigeon type variation. Feeling a deep stretch to the right hip. Inhaling deeply into those areas of stiffness. And exhaling, tension melting away. Let's take just a couple more breaths here. Inhaling deeply, taking note of what you're feeling in the body. And exhale fully. One more time, inhale. As you exhale, bring yourself forward, releasing that right leg, and step it forward to the front of the mat, lifting into a high lunge here, arms overhead. And as you exhale, dive it down as you extend that front leg, foot flexed as you find a pyramid here. Inhale, rising back up into that high lunge, hips tucked under, keeping that belly button into the spine. And exhale, back to pyramid, front leg extending, flexing that foot, taking it deeper into the calves. One more time, inhale into your high lunge, reaching tall, and exhale into pyramid, holding it this time. Toes pulled up, deepening that stretch through the calves. Maybe you want to rotate the foot in or out here, seeing if maybe you're tighter on the inner or outer calves. And just hold it for a few moments when you find that area that speaks to you. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale, we're going to go ahead and take our full pigeon pose this time. So begin to lay your right leg as parallel as you can towards the front of the mat, but it's perfectly fine if that heel comes in closer toward your hip here. Go ahead and walk that back foot back a little bit further so you're really getting a good stretch through the hip flexor. Take one more deep breath, finding length in the spine. As you exhale, begin to melt the chest forward, sinking into our pigeon here. Feel free to place anything under the hip if you're feeling a little lopsided. And then breathe deep into that side. And exhale, let it go, tension melting away. This pose can be really intense for a lot of people, so this is a great time to practice that deep breath, focusing on tuning into this present moment, breathing into those areas of tension, and exhaling it away, imagining that tension melting through the body and leaving. Not only does attention to the breath help us to go deeper into our poses, but it also teaches us to be able to handle discomfort, so that we can apply that to our life, even beyond the mat. Take one more deep breath here. And as you exhale, lift that chest back up, swing your back leg around, bringing it over the front leg. And then inhale, finding length in the spine. As you exhale, begin to twist from the belly button toward the left, using your right arm to press that left knee further away, taking this twist deeper. Or if that's a bit much for you today, you can simply hug that left knee in toward your chest, wrapping your arms around it. Be sure to keep your spine tall here, imagining a string pulling from the head up into the sky. Inhale into the dantian. And exhale, letting go of tension, maybe twisting a little bit deeper. Take one more deep breath. As you exhale, unwind yourself, planting the hands toward the mat, stepping back into a plank, and then pressing your way back into down dog. And let's take it to the other side now. So this time, The left leg is crossing over the right, resting on the ball of that left foot. And again, think about sinking all the weight you can into that right heel, going deep into the calves here. And again, if your heel is already grounded toward the mat, then think about tilting that pelvis so the low belly is moving closer toward the thighs. Deepening the stretch here. Breathing through any stiffness and discomfort. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, this time bring that left ankle over the right thigh, just above the knee, for this down dog pigeon variation. Round forward into plank, dropping the back knee, and sinking back into this child's pose pigeon type variation. Inhaling deep into the left hip this time. And exhaling, letting go of resistance, allowing the body to melt a little deeper here. While we're here, just check in with yourself, noticing what's happening in the mind, what's happening in the body, taking note of any imbalances between this side and the first side we did. Great job. Take one more deep breath. As you exhale, begin to shift forward, releasing that left leg and stepping it forward to the front of the mat. Inhaling the arms overhead as you lift into your high lunge. Tailbone tucked under here, belly button pulled into the spine. And exhale, bending forward, extending the front leg, pulling the foot up, flexed. Inhale back into high lunge, reaching tall. And exhale back to pyramid, extending the front leg, keeping the hips square to the front of the mat. Again, inhale back to high lunge. And exhale, last time to pyramid, holding it this time, extending that front leg, toes pulled up toward the shin. Maybe pointing the toes inward or outward slightly to find those unique areas of tension. And while we're here, think about pulling that left hip back slightly while pressing that right hip forward. That will really help to deepen the stretch and keep those hips square to the front of the mat. Take one more deep breath here. As you exhale, let's once again find our pigeon pose, laying that left shin as parallel as you can toward the front of the mat, then allowing that heel to come closer toward the hip if you need to. See if you can step that back foot a little bit further away, really extending through the hip flexor. Inhale, lengthening the spine. As you exhale, once again, allow that chest to begin to melt towards the mat. Breathing deep into that hip flexor, into the psoas and the outer left hip here. And exhale, tension melting away. Continuing with this deep breath on your own for just a few moments longer. Wonderful job. Take one more deep inhale. As you exhale, gently lift that chest back up. And now we're going to swing the right leg around, once again taking our seated spinal twist. Inhale, lengthening the spine. And exhale as you begin to twist from the belly button toward the right, using the left arm this time to press into that left knee. Feeling this release through the spine, this gentle decompression with this twist. Once again, making sure Your posture is straight, that spine is tall, that string pulling from your head all the way up toward the sky. Take one more deep inhale. As you exhale, untwist, removing that top leg, and just meet me at the center of the mat in an easy seat for our final closing breaths together. Let's inhale as you sweep the arms up toward the sky, taking a big stretch of the whole body here. And exhale, hands to prayer at heart center. One more time, inhaling, reaching the arms overhead. And exhale, hands to prayer as you bow down, thanking yourself for taking the time to honor your mind and body in this way today. Thank you so much for joining me for today's short practice. I hope your mind and body both feel calm, energized, and loose and ready to tackle whatever you have ahead of you today. If you enjoyed this practice, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all of my latest classes. Liking and subscribing are also the best ways to help support this channel and is completely free. Though if you do wish to help support monetarily as well, I accept class donations via Cash App and PayPal, and those links are in the description below. Thank you again for whatever ways you choose to support me in this channel and for joining me for today's practice. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.